what's going on? It's Tuesday, Theater Room episode 7. This is the beginning of a slow week, I guess, because we don't have a lot that happened last week. We're kind of coming into a big week. So I'm Spartacus with the Generational Gaming and Entertainment Network. And on Tuesdays, I like to just kind of give a recap of the things I've watched and kind of go from there. So we don't have WandaVision this week. Sadly, there's really no Marvel anything that I could talk about. It's kind of a lull before we get a lot of comic book stuff. We got Justice League coming out this week on Thursday, and we have not Captain America, Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming out or starting on Friday. So those are some big things I'm looking forward to at the end of this month is Kong versus Godzilla. That's another big thing that's coming out. And then next month is Mortal Kombat Reboot. There's other things that are, releasing that I'll be watching, but so far for this last weekend, basically, there wasn't a ton of stuff. I kind of took another step down my Bond journey and watched some older movies that I just don't feel like get a lot of love and that I tend to like a little bit more than your average person. So we're going to kind of get right into it. First, this week I'll start by talking about Bond. On Her Majesty's Secret Service was the movie of the week for me. This is the first movie that Sean Connery was not in as James Bond. George Lazenby took over for one movie. And I'm glad he took over for one movie because it was garbage. Thank you, Emily Gilmore, for joining the chat. And yes, I will watch Vikings. I am committing right now, live on the show, that starting this week, I will watch Vikings. I'm not going to go one episode per week. I'm just going to watch as much as I can, and I will talk about it every Tuesday. We've pretty much already talked about it, so I know I'm probably gonna love it. As long as Ivar survives, because he's my man. I will admit that his eyes are dreamy. But so that's gonna be a new thing that I'll add to starting next Tuesday. And for anyone who doesn't know, the second half of the last season aired and finished already, and for some reason I just haven't watched it yet. I don't know what it is. I think subconsciously I am like a little sad that it's ending and I don't want it to end, so I'm just kind of putting it off. But enough is enough. I'm putting my foot down. I'll be watching it starting this week. But let's go back to Bond because I have some specific things I want to say about this one. George Lazenby, I wasn't a huge fan of Sean Connery. I don't really understand or didn't really understand why a lot of people would argue that he was the best Bond. And then I saw this one with George Lazenby, and I immediately said, okay, I get it, because this guy is horrendous. He just, from the very first scene of the movie, he looks awkward, he looks clumsy. It's just very, very strange to me. He doesn't seem like Bond, he's not suave, he doesn't really seem confident. He looks to me like he's pretending to be confident. And I feel like the quality of the movie overall just kind of took a dive. The movies were getting better and better. The opening songs, the opening credits, everything was just improving with each movie. And then this one took a step backwards, which I understand, which I guess is why they brought Sean Connery back for the next one. But just as an example, let's look at this is the opening visuals for the song, the big Bond song. That's a big deal. It's garbage. It looks like it could be done in Photoshop. And I guess at the time, it was a little bit more cutting edge. And I'm looking at it from a 2021 lens. But to me, I feel like they were a lot more creative with the Goldfinger intro. They were a lot more creative with the Thunderball intro even. This was nothing. I kind of found myself at this point already in the movie, and this is probably about 10, 15 minutes into the movie that this started. I was already bored. I kind of was fighting the urge to look at my phone, and I just think that it just kind of was off on the wrong foot just to get the movie started already. Speaking of the opening of the movie, so it starts with a fight scene with Bond on like a beach, saving some random woman. So the one thing I'm noticing about the Bonds, especially in the early movies, is there was really no setup or explanation to certain events. You see Bond drive up to a spot where there's another car parked. He uses like a telescope to watch some woman creepily go into the ocean, and then out of nowhere just runs in. And she walks into the ocean fine, but once he gets there, she faints into his arms, which is very weird. He brings her to shore, and then out of nowhere, he's attacked by 3 guys, and she runs off. There's really no setup. I know they, later on, they kind of, not explain it, but they kind of, give you enough information to know why he was there to begin with, but like it just kind of came out of nowhere. It was such a weird way to start the movie. It didn't look like he was on a mission or anything. He's just at the beach. Just very strange. And on top of that, the fight was horrible. The editing was crap. The angles was crap. You could tell that George Lazenby does not know how to throw a punch. Now this comes from a time where fight scenes in movies were not that well choreographed, and the actors were not expected to really know how to fight. They learned very basic stage fighting, but it wasn't like they really learned how to fight in most movies. It was a stunt double who did the fighting, or they just kind of cut a lot. And just to give you an example of that, I took this little clip. This is a fight scene about 20 minutes into the movie, and just watch how poorly edited this thing is. You can't see anything that's going on. And I just don't understand the point. What's up, Rob Zombie? No, I can honestly say I never had to go to the beach and just run in to save a fainting pretty girl. It's just a very weird. It's a very weird thing. I've gone to the beach many times. I've almost fainted many times, but I've never gone in to save a fainting woman. And the one time I did, I think she probably smacked me in the face because I was basically causing her to drown even more. It's just such a weird way to start, and like I said, with this fight scene you can see here, it's just poorly edited. You don't know what's going on, and it just kind of annoyed the crap out of me. Honestly, it frustrated me watching this movie. I didn't even finish it. I got probably about 40 minutes left of the movie, and another thing I'm annoyed at, and I think I forgot to even take a picture of this, but Blofeld is played by another guy. How does he not recognize Bond? Unless I missed it. I mean, I was literally on and off my phone because this movie was so boring to me. So maybe I missed the one line they said. But it looks like he just doesn't recognize Bond and Bond doesn't recognize him. Or Bond's pretending to be Scottish with a little bit of a Scottish accent, and that's enough. It just... Look at this fight scene. Look at it. Look at the quick edits here. You have no idea who's doing what. I mean, I guess you could tell because Bond's wearing brown and they're all wearing blue and green. But it's just it's just brutal. It's brutal. It was very frustrating. Like if I had to decide to watch the next one based off the one I'm currently watching, I would have stopped right now. This would have been it. I would have been done with Bond altogether. But I keep reminding myself I got Daniel Craig coming, I got Pierce Brosnan coming, Roger Moore I've heard is pretty good from certain people, so I'm gonna keep pushing through. But this is just frustrating. Moving on to some older movies. This one in particular, it's not I watched two other things that I wanted to talk about. This first movie does not get enough love. This movie, to me, is really one of the best action movies that came out the year it was released. And Carl Urban is in it, who's a phenomenal actor for anyone who doesn't know. He plays Bones in the Star Trek Kelvin timeline, I think it is. Or Kevin timeline, I forget what they call it. But Dredd. And not the Sylvester Stallone, cheesy, like, action movie. This is a gritty, violent Judge Dredd movie. And this one is awesome. It's on Hulu right now for anyone who hasn't seen it. You should check it out. But I took a little clip just to show you the action scenes. Lena Headey is in this too, of Game of Thrones fame. She plays the bad guy in this called Mama. She runs a gang that just took over an entire skyrise. But I mean, check out this action scene. Now this is from early in the movie, so it's not giving up too much. It's just kind of a good idea of how violent the movie can get and how the visuals stand out a little bit. This is one of my favorite action scenes too. Again, from any movies, but this is a cool gunfight. The slow-mo is used very well, and slow-mo is the name of the drug that's causing everyone to feel like it's moving super slow. But here's my favorite shot. Ready? It's coming up now. Where's the bullet? Right through the face. Oh, did I miss it? Oh no, I didn't. Right there. Boom. Look at that. How cool is that? That's just awesome. I'm telling you, watch this movie. It's only about an hour and 40 minutes, not a very long movie. Carl Urban does not remove his helmet, so if you're a Dredd fan, then that's got to be a plus. And it's just a violent and good action movie. Especially if you have a little bit of time to kill, it's worth watching. The other thing I watched that I was just going to talk about briefly is the Justice League. So this is an image of the Snyder Cut that comes out on Thursday. In order to prepare myself for that one so I can kind of have the first one fresh in my mind, I watched the theatrical release. And, I enjoy it. I think it's an entertaining movie. It's definitely disjointed. You could tell that Joss Whedon tried to take a lot of what Zack Snyder did and just throw it out and start fresh. But I think it's more entertaining than most of the DC movies that came out before that one was released. I personally think it's better than Wonder Woman 1 because I'm not a big fan of Wonder Woman 1. And I think really the only movies better than it are Aquaman and Shazam. And, maybe Birds of Prey, but even that one, upon more viewings, is starting to wear thin for me. But, the first one had, besides the obvious Henry Cavill upper lip, crap that I just don't even understand how that's a thing with a movie with that kind of budget. It had humor. It was brighter than the previous movies. I was not a fan of the big red sky at the end in the big battle, but that at least made it stand out and look a little different than a blue portal shooting up into the sky. It had good introductions for Aquaman, for Flash. I do think it didn't give us enough of Cyborg, and from what I'm understanding, the Snyder Cut is going to give us a lot more Cyborg, which is good. I'm still concerned, though. The first one was an hour, just about 2 hours, and the Zack Snyder one's 4 hours. It just seems like it's going to be so long. It's getting a lot of early praise, and I think that a lot of that praise might be just kind of blind praise because we've been calling for the Snyder Cut for a long time. I do think that Zack Snyder's style is so distinctly different from the Marvel style that it would have been smart to stick to a grittier and darker set of movies. But he uses a lot of slow-mo. It's a lot of dialogue. It's a lot of front heavy with exposition and setup. Generally, his payoffs work pretty well. So I'm hoping we're gonna get an epic kind of finish for his version of this movie. Otherwise, I liked the original. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought that the little kind of flashback scene gives you enough of a hint of things that are coming, like Green Lantern. I do think it's annoying that in Batman vs Superman we got that nightmare sequence and the little flash moment with Batman, and we never got a payoff to that. And from what I understand, in this one, we're going to get a much bigger, more thorough scene, and we're going to get some sort of extended storyline, I guess, from the Flash, coming from the past thing. But my biggest problem is that a lot of this stuff, there is no plans for another Justice League, and any of the movies going forward are really not supposed to be following any of the storylines that were introduced in previous movies. Shut up. My phone just decided to yell at me. I guess Zack Snyder's listening, doesn't want me to talk about this. So I liked it. I'm going to watch the next one. I'm not really looking forward to it, if I'm being honest, but I'm going to sit through 4 hours of it. And you guys better sit through 4 hours of it with me because it's going to be rough. And then just as another reminder, this is the last thing. This is another short episode because, again, nothing really happened in the last week. Falcon and Winter Soldier comes out Friday. There was actually a new trailer that just came out. It's the final trailer before the season starts, which showed a lot more action. It looks like this show is going to be way heavier on action than WandaVision. There's a good scene of Falcon, I guess, practicing with Cap's shield, throwing it and ricocheting off different trees and catching it. I think you can just tell by the trailers that the dynamic between Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to carry from where we saw them in Civil War, which was like a fun little kind of respected hatred for each other. I'm really looking forward to it. I feel like we're going to, I said this about WandaVision. I was wrong. So let's hope I'm not wrong now, but I feel like there's going to be some surprise characters. I really feel like Thunderbolt Ross is going to be in the movie. I don't think he's going to be turning into Red Hulk in this. I'm not sorry, not the movie, in the show. I don't think he's going to be turning into Red Hulk because honestly, if it's only 6 episodes and we don't know that they're all going to be an hour long, there's not enough time to really set that up. But they could use this show to set up the possibility of him taking some sort of super soldier serum and becoming Red Hulk, which could be something that carries on into maybe She-Hulk or into a future Falcon and Winter Soldier show. They have said that there are ideas for a second season, but they haven't confirmed if that's going to actually happen or not. I personally am kind of hoping that after this show, the Falcon gets his own movie. Let him star in another movie, strictly on him, on the Falcon. Maybe at that point he has Cap's shield, but he's known as the Falcon, just uses it, or maybe he takes the Captain America name and adopts it as his own. Who knows what's going to happen? I did read somewhere that Zemo's mask is going to be inspired by Thanos, which is kind of a great way to explain why he wears the mask. And the action just looks good. I mean, it looks creative. There's a lot of scenes of Falcon using his wings in creative ways and in tight spaces. So I'm pretty excited about this. That releases this Friday, so we all got to be ready for that one. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the cinema suite of the week. So I went and visited my brother, his wife, and their kids this weekend. And his wife made this unbelievable Nutella mousse kind of dessert thing. I mean, just look how delicious this looks. I mean, come on. Look at that. Look at that. Tell me you don't like it. It's Nutella. I think it had some chocolate in it, some trifle, or I don't know. It's freaking delicious. I don't even know how to make it. I'm not a cook, but I like to eat it, and it was fantastic. I will share the link to the recipe when I put the recap up on the YouTube video. And then that's really it for this week. There's really not much else to talk about, nothing else to say. Like I said, Vikings, I will be discussing what I watched next Tuesday. I will be talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier next Tuesday. I'm going to watch the South Park vaccination special, so I'll throw that on for next Tuesday. And then after, on Her Majesty's Secret Service, I don't even know what the next Bond movie is, so I'll look it up later and we'll talk about that. I know Sean Connery is back for that one, but I'll talk about that next Tuesday. So next Tuesday is going to be a lot to talk about. And I'm sure there'll be some theories and stuff that come from Falcon and Winter Soldier. Although I know that WandaVision, everyone fell into this trap of trying to come up or trying to guess what was going to happen next. And, we were all wrong. It's kind of like we overthought it. Again, Marvel's playing the long game, so we have a lot kind of coming. And, I think that they're not going to be giving us the bigger reveals like we thought they would so quickly. I'm hoping that towards the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, we get some new trailers or some new information on some of the other movies coming out. I really want to see something about Eternals, which comes out this year. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which is one of the first movies to come out. Black Widow, we don't need another trailer, but that comes out soon. So, I'm sure we'll get some more information about something. But yeah, and then that's it. So, check out everyone else in the Generational Gaming Entertainment Network. The captain, I think, Scythe X, who I think is actually on Twitch right now, playing some Spider-Man Miles Morales, if you're interested. One Shot, everyone's kind of streaming games, a lot of Call of Duty throughout the week. And come back here on Sunday for an update on any of the news that are announced throughout the week. And otherwise, I will see you all next Tuesday for the next Theater Room and for some big reviews. So I'll see you then.